877-3DP Show, email address dp@danpatrick.com. Always great to talk to Booger McFarland, ESPN NFL and college football analyst, and part of two Super Bowl champion teams. Booger joining us on the program. Good morning, Booger. How are you?
DP, what's up, buddy? How we doing?
Well, we were talking about great running backs in college and how many carries the body has in it. You know, that Christian McCaffrey banged up last year, got hurt last night. I wonder if we're going to see the same for Zeke Elliott. Like, teams pay them, and you want to use them, but then you also have to be careful with how much you use them. What happened to the running back position?
Well, I think you guys are onto something with the carries. I go back to the guys at Alabama. Remember Ingram and Richardson? They just ran those guys into the ground, and Richardson was never the same once he got in the NFL. And if you look at a guy like Najee Harris, who's in Pittsburgh now. Najee wasn't used a lot early on in his career. His senior year he was. And so I'm interested to do kind of a case study to see how he fares as far as the injuries are concerned. I think you could say the same for Leonard Fournette. I mean, Les Miles never met a run he didn't like, and he ran Leonard Fournette into the ground. So I agree there's only so many carries. And I think NFL coaches have to be smart because, some of these old school coaches want to practice full speed all week. And, essentially you're playing 2 to 3 games as far as the wear and tear. Now, I know you're not getting hit, but, when you're running full speed is full speed, whether it's on Wednesday or Sunday. So, yeah, these new school coaches have to do a better job of getting guys to Sunday. That's where guys like Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay, I think they do a good job with some of these veteran players because they're kind of a newer school. They really are not concerned as much about having 2.5, 3-hour practices during the week.
I'm wondering if Miami, the U in 2001, didn't have the best group of running backs for one season. Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore, Najee Davenport.
That one was good. Take a look at, I don't have it in front of me, but what about Georgia when they had Gurley, Sonny Michel, and there was another one they had. So Georgia, maybe it was Chubb?
Chubb was a freshman. Yeah, Chubb was a freshman. But they had Chubb, Sonny Michel, DeAndre Swift at the same time. USC had Reggie Bush and Lendale White. Oklahoma State had Thurman Thomas, Barry Sanders. SMU, Eric Dickerson, Craig James. Auburn in 2004, Cadillac Williams and Ronnie Brown. Arkansas, 2007, Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, and Peyton Hillis. Who's the best running back you ever faced in college?
Wow. College, I would probably say Stephen Davis. Remember the big running back from Auburn, Stephen Davis? Yeah, he was a load to deal with because not only was he fast, man, but the dude was 235, 240 pounds. Him, and I'm trying to think who else. He was about the only one, because I didn't go against guys like James Stewart and Aaron Hayden that were at Tennessee. I didn't get a chance to see those guys. I missed those guys during the SEC cycle.
Do you think that we'll see a running back drafted in the top 10 over the next 10 years?
No, because I think that position has kind of, I'm not going to say it's devalued, but you realize even if you get one in the later rounds, the talent gap is not going to be astronomical. And so I think, therefore, why would you waste a top 10 pick on a running back, i.e. Leonard Fournette? Even Ezekiel Elliott has only given you about 2 or 3 prime years, and now I think Tony Pollard is a more explosive back in Dallas. So I doubt it. Maybe at the end of the first round, you may get one kind of like a Najee Harris around 22, 23. But I definitely don't think you're going to see one in the top 10 picks because the quarterbacks are too valuable, offensive linemen are too valuable, defensive linemen are too valuable, and running backs come a dime a dozen.
Yeah, but why is it that you can always find a running back? You don't say that. Maybe you say it about offensive linemen, but it feels like you can always find a running back.
Because I think when you look at the skill position and how guys are groomed and how guys are created in college and high school, everyone wants to play running back. So you get a lot of the best athletes playing that position. And so the volume of running backs to choose from is more plentiful than, say, a great quarterback, because you can only have one quarterback on the team that's going to play at one time. or a great offensive tackle. Like, who wants to play offensive tackle in high school? Like, none of the girls want to date the offensive tackle. We all want the guy that touches the football and runs the ball. So I think that has something to do with it. Plus, I mean, let's face it, this is a 7-on-7 sport now, Dan. It's quarterbacks and receivers and tight ends. Even a tight end like a George Kittle, who's a two-way tight end that can block and catch. Like, those guys are being phased out a little bit. Like, blocking is not cool anymore. It's, hey, throw me the ball, let me catch, let me play DB where I can pick the balls off and go to the end zone. So it is a true 7-on-7 sport now that happens to have a few defensive and offensive linemen in it.
You can only watch one this weekend. Chargers, Chiefs, Buccaneers, Rams, Packers, Niners.
To me, that's easy. It's going to be Bucs, Rams, because I think that if both teams play at a high level, you could be looking at an NFC championship game. And I really want to see what Matthew Stafford is going to do, because, Dan, think about the narrative. Is Matthew Stafford a good player, or should I say a great player that was in a bad organization in Detroit and never could kind of get his just due? Or was he a good player that just never could get the organization over the top? We're going to find out, because he said, not his words, mine, he said, I want to play in big games. Yeah. I want to be in games that matter. Well, guess what, Matthew Stafford? You got your wish, buddy, because this is a huge game. Tom Brady, the Buccaneers, arguably the most talented team in football, coming to your house, okay, traveling across the country, and you're going to stare the GOAT toe-to-toe. So we're going to find out whether Matthew Stafford can take the first step into what he talked about, which is playing in these huge games.
I felt like the media overreacted week one with the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. I didn't expect them to beat the Saints. I didn't expect them to play that poorly. But I think they overreacted in beating the Lions, because I expected them to beat the Lions. I think this is probably more of a litmus test, facing the Niners on the road than the first 2 weeks. What do you? How do you break down this game?
Here's the way I look at the Packers. The Packers are not as bad as they were in week one. They're not as good as they were in week two. If you look at their defense is not as good. Zadarius Smith, he's injured, so they don't have any pass rush. Now, if you don't have any pass rush, what does that mean, Dan? That means that the back end of your defense, the secondary, is going to be exposed. And we saw Tom Brady expose his secondary in the NFC Championship game. Well, guess what? Other than Jair Alexander, this is not a very good secondary. So, yeah, their defense is not as good. And Aaron Rodgers, let's face it, he told you, he didn't play well week one. Didn't play well at all. So when I look at the Packers, I think they ultimately can get back to where they were, but they are nowhere near there now. They're not running the ball as well. David Bakhtiari is not there. Their left tackle, he's out. Corey Linsley, who's the center, who's a very good center, he's now in L.A. with the Chargers. So the reality of it is it's not the same team, and it's going to take this team just a little time to gel and get where they want to go. I don't know if they are as physical as San Francisco wants to be. See, because the last couple of times we've seen Green Bay, San Francisco, Dan, It's been like, hey, let me take my little brother behind the shed and just beat the hell out of it. Like it's been a physical bloodbath. Think about Jimmy Garoppolo. They beat the Packers, and he only threw like 10 passes that game, remember? So can Green Bay step up to the physical part of the football game? That's what I want to know, because if they can't, then in the back of their minds, regardless of what the rest of their season looks like, in the back of their mind, they're constantly going to say, yeah, we're good, but if we see that team, I don't know if we can physically step up or physically handle what they do to us.
You got the Eagles and the Cowboys. You'll be in Dallas for Monday night. What concerns do you have with the Cowboys?
It's still their defense. Think about this. America's team, all the money Jerry got, and the only thing we're talking about in Dallas is a rookie defensive player in Micah Parsons. Like, where's the help? DeMarcus Lawrence is hurt. The secondary still isn't great. Your best defensive player right now is a rookie. That's a lot to ask of a rookie. Now, the offense is going to be really good. Let's face it. The offensive line led by Zach Martin, Hall of Famer, they're good. Dak Prescott, if you don't think he's a top 5 to 7 quarterback in football, you need to give up your credentials. The wide receivers, when they go 3 wide receivers with Gallup, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, there's not a better 3 in football. So the offense is going to be good. But, then it's still the same question. Can they stop people consistently, especially with a rookie as your best defensive player?
Yeah, I just wonder. It feels like when you play for the Cowboys, you're better than what you really are. That all of a sudden, hey, you play for the Cowboys, you got to be good. And I've been saying all along, when they went 13-3, they were hiding a lot of that, defensive ineptitude because they kept the defense off the field. Therefore, when they were on the field, they were able to do some things. Now, can they replicate that? Can they be that kind of team that wins 13 games? Therefore, you don't need to count on the defense that much. Almost like the Chiefs.
Think about week one, Dan. Dak threw for 400 yards, and they lost. Okay, Dak threw it 50 times, and they lost. Think about week two. They actually ran the ball more than Dak threw it, and they won. So what you're saying is the Cowboys need to know how to play complementary football. Like, they need to know how to win games. It's not just this is not Madden. This is not Meat Friday, and we're sitting around with the PlayStation 5 playing video games and eating, brisket. You actually have to put together a game plan to play complementary football. So how do I protect the defense that we all agree is not very good? Well, maybe Dak shouldn't throw it every down. Maybe, just maybe, he shouldn't throw 50 times. And so hopefully Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy will figure that out, because if they don't, Dak will put up video game numbers, but they won't win a lot of football games.
You should stop in for a Meat Friday one of these days.
I would love to. As a matter of fact, I'm going to come to New York early on a Friday morning, and I'll land in New York maybe around 9:30, and I'll make it a point to come by. I don't even need to be on the show. I just want to come by and eat and just hang out and watch you do your thing.
What do you tell me what you want as far as the menu, and we'll try to prepare that for you.
I can tell you right now, I am a brisket sausage guy. Like, I don't really need the sausage with all the cheese and jalapenos in it. Just give me some regular kielbasa sausage. Give me a nice brisket with a nice smoke ring on it, a little crust. I don't need it fatty or lean, kind of somewhere in the middle, and just all the Coke Zero you have. And I'll be as happy as a cat going outside for the first time.
Good to talk to you, buddy. Have fun playing golf today. Thanks for joining us as always.
DP, anytime you need me, let me know, and I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much.
That's Booger McFarland. You can catch him in studio, college football throughout the day on Saturday, NFL primetime with Chris Berman on Sunday, as well as Monday night countdown in Dallas, Week 3 on ESPN.